How's it going, everybody? I am Preston Johnson.
Welcome to
Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV.
As a general philosophy.
That's exactly right. You're a fish.
Qwan, by the way, my producer, Qwan Young, doing a good job. He'll be taking the calls. How you doing today, bud?
Hey, man, how are you?
We appreciate you guys tuning in. Welcome to the show, Bets TV, bringing you Last Word Cheetah. Welcome to We're good. That's the new phone number today. Welcome to Last Word Cheetah. Brought to you by Bets TV. We're here at the Bets TV studios. I am Preston Johnson. We had our phone number changed last 2 days. System was getting hacked by bad guys. That was the exact terminology that came from the guy upstairs running things. Qwan, how are you doing? By the way, you've become addicted to the chicken club downstairs from the cafe.
The grill is good. I can't.
For months,
eating.
you never ate from there, and now it's every day.
It's my only meal of the day.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think you're supposed to do that.
I don't think so either, but that's normally how things shake out with me.
Are we paying you enough to eat 3 meals a day?
You know, I could use $25,000.
That's right.
Wink,
we
wink.
all could. Carlos has a chance. By the way, I'll be honest. Let's put up the new phone number for people, by the way. It's just because we do have a new one. I don't even know it in my head. I just know it starts with 661-338-4268. There we go. Look, half of this prize money comes out of my pocket. Half comes out of the Bets TV pocket, which is, all of us involved. I was rooting for Carlos. Said I was rooting for Carlos the whole time. But Qwan can tell you in our thread, I found myself rooting for the Brewers late in the game. I was like, that's $1,250 more out of my pocket. So, Carlos, I'm just being upfront. Look, he won the Cardinals plus 181. They were up 2-0. I tweeted about it with bottom of the 8th inning, and Wong hit a ball off the top of the wall, almost tied it up. They had bases loaded, bottom 9. 2 guys on, no outs, I think even. He escapes. So, congrats. But I will admit, by the time the 8th inning was rolling around, I was actually rooting for the Brewers. So, that's where we're at. He had about a 36.5% implied based on the market price's chance of winning that $2,500. Today, that goes down a little bit. We'll see if he can make the correct decision. I actually love the question. We're going to have Pikachu on because it's going to be KBO. And it's going to be in the middle of the night, 2:30 a.m. Pacific time. Early East Coast. I'm sure Carlos will be up sweating it out. But if he wins today, then he has $25,000 coming to him tomorrow. So tomorrow will be football. We'll keep it a little more regular. But we'll get to all that next hour. We'll go into the KBO. I'll release the question, so to speak. For now, we got Week 4 college football, as usual. We got Week 3 NFL. We do have baseball. We still have some playoff wildcard races going down on the diamond in the United States. And we have Collin Wilson coming on later on this show to break down Week 4 college football. And in particular, one game he has some inside information on, legitimately. And I actually relayed it to some people earlier today. I said, all right, yeah, you just got to buy it. And so we actually talked about, apologize for the Mac notifications beep. Sound was up. We talked about this game earlier in the week a little bit. So one of the callers brought it up, and it turns out I think it's going to be the right side, and we'll talk to Collin about that as well as everything else that he likes.
Okay, what's up, Nick?
We'll start with the calls.
Thanks.
They working? Things going smoothly, Qwan?
Yeah.
The new number is just not a hacked number, apparently, the new system. It's a lot harder to remember that phone number, but for now, it'll do the trick. Who's up first? Cool. What's up, Brian, man? How have you been?
Pretty good. How about you?
We're doing well. What do you got for us today?
Well, I'm not one to complain about bad beats too much because they typically even out. But yesterday I said in the Twitter chat the Marlins under 8, and it was 1-0 going into the 6th. I thought I was pretty good, and then I don't even remember who the Marlins were playing. The Nationals. They scored 4 runs in the 6th. Only one of them was an earned run. to make it 4-1,
wow.
and then scored 3 in the top of the ninth to push instead of a victory.
I guess take the push. At least it wasn't a loss,
Yeah.
but it still hurts when you're that close. I'm looking now. Yeah, it was kind of garbage. 3 runs. Sometimes you have the team that's already up 3 or 4 runs, top of the ninth, just like hurry, get out of there. Nope, they had to add to it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how it goes
Yeah,
sometimes.
I was disappointed in that. But tonight I'm going to go back to those same teams. I like the Nationals with Josiah Gray, former Cincinnati Red prospect, former Dodger.
Yes.
One of the worst trades the Cincinnati Reds made. Because
what was the other side of that trade?
Dodgers,
I don't even remember.
That was the Yasiel Puig, Alex Wood, Kyle Farmer's the Red starting shortstop. But the Dodgers took Homer Bailey as a salary dump. But they got Jeter Downs and Josiah Gray, which they turned Jeter Downs into Mookie Betts, and then they turned Josiah Gray into Max Scherzer and Trey Turner.
Dodgers, man. I'm pointing back here. Look,
that was
they're
a
wizards.
tough trade.
Good call. I hadn't put that all together, actually. Well put. All right. Yeah, you're going to that game. You want to bet on the Nats, though, the side, right?
Yeah, Nationals money line.
All right, I can give you plus 118. Looks like the best number on the board. We'll lock you in for that, man. Good luck tonight. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. See ya. Who do we got up next? We got a string. Beautiful. Ooh, Tom Davis calling in early. How are you doing today?
All right, buddy. I got a little appointment I got to go to. What do you see on 326?
326. I'm guessing that's college, right?
Yes, sir. The Turtles from Maryland.
Ooh, well, I liked the total. We talked about that yesterday. What's that up to? Ooh, it's pushing up a little bit more. I can give you either 14, 14 and a half, or 15. Depends on what you want. But, yeah, they're all kind of mixed in there.
I'm going to give the 14.
You want to lay the points?
Correct, sir.
Okay. Circa is dealing 14. There's one other 14. Not a ton. Most of the market's 14.5, but I'll give you the 14. We can lock you in. Any reasoning on this one, Tom? You were hot last week with your college football stuff.
Yeah, they look like they finally got their act together up there, and I believe Kent State weakest kid.
Fair enough. All right. We'll put it in for you, Tom. Good luck. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
They ought to beat them like a drum.
Who's up next? By the way, whenever someone that's calling into a gambling show is, I have an appointment, usually could be with someone that you're either handing money to. Maybe they're handing you money. But the way that Tom was DMing me on Sunday night asking for a Lifeline bailout play, don't think that was the case this week.
He might have a peanut guy.
Sunday night, Tom DMs me. I need a Lifeline bailout winner, Cheetah. Then Wednesday he calls in. Yeah, I got an appointment. I'll just leave it at that. Who's up next?
We got Nick from Iowa.
Nick, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. What do you got for us today?
Hey, Preston. Let's see. Even though this was one of the most bizarre results from last week with Toledo and Colorado State, I'm going back with Toledo, and I see a -4 at Bookmaker.
Yep. It can give you 4. Most of it's 4.5, even a couple 5s. But I still don't know what to make of that. Did you watch it at all? Colorado State game?
I watched part of it. Toledo could not run it, and honestly, this is probably actually more of a Ball State fade than it is so much a play on Toledo. But I think we're getting a little bit of a cheap price based upon the Toledo Colorado State result.
Yeah.
Just because Ball State's been just abysmal, and even Ball State's opener against Western Illinois, Ball State was outgained in that one and was worse in yards per play and everything, and so. I don't know. This is a little bit more of a fade Ball State play. But as far as the Toledo-Colorado State game, I downgraded Toledo a tiny bit, but I'm kind of just saying this one weird result that I'm just kind of looking the other way on, maybe a little bit too. But I'm kind of sticking stubborn with the Toledo side here.
So this is what's interesting about just gambling and betting, and especially for sports, when you're looking at single events and you're trying to value, what was that event worth? Was it just sometimes people just have crazy days, right? Or really bad days.
Yeah.
It happens. It's part of the variance of gambling. But if I was a scout or a defensive coordinator and I was watching game film, which I'm not, I'm not sure the last time I felt so I'm like my stance on what Colorado State did against Toledo in the second half. They literally blitzed every play, at least 7 guys.
Mm-hmm.
And Toledo for the entire half could not get a first down almost. I think there was a couple times they got a first down where like on a swing or there was maybe one bubble screen that worked. But Bradley could not figure out either the pressure got there, he did just throw it away, he threw a couple picks. Like it just was the weirdest thing that they could not figure out how to call a play against a 7 or 8 man rush. And if I'm watching film and I'm Ball State, how does Toledo fix it in a week? I don't know. It was like amazingly, glaringly awful. And if I'm Ball State, I'm just blitzing every play. And I don't know I can trust Toledo to actually fix it. Plus, Bradley did hurt himself earlier in that game. So for me, this is one of the rare cases where I would generally be like, you don't want to put too much stock into one result. Anything can happen in one result. I'm worried. I'm worried that Toledo, if there's just something and everyone now just starts blitzing this offense and Bradley and he can't figure it out, then there's even a lower downside to where they're going. So that's my thought. Qwan, what did you say? That's all good. Did he drop because he dropped himself or because the hackers are at this phone line now?
I think we got a hacker.
It's all right. We'll lock him in for the Toledo -4. It is an intriguing game. Maybe I'll ask Collin if he was watching that game at all because I think he likes Toledo as well this week, if I recall. I can bring it up. But that's one where, look, normally, yes, you never want to overreact to one play. We talk about it all the time in betting. But if I'm Ball State, here's the difference. Maybe Colorado State has better secondary than Ball State, right? Like they were pressing, letting the pressure get there before the corners and safeties were getting beat. I just don't understand how Toledo just didn't like run a slant pattern or an RPO that just like, find a seam. It was wide open and they could not figure it out. I don't understand to this point in time, as you can tell. All right. Do we have someone on? Cool. Go ahead and put them through. Brian, what's up, man? How are you doing?
Hey, Preston. How you doing?
Doing well. What do you got for us today?
I'm going to go the same bet as last night and take the Dodgers.
Money line?
Yep.
Okay. Are you just betting them every day, basically, at this point?
I think almost all my bets from here on out are going to be just Dodgers or Patriots. It's surely minus TV, but I got to roll with it.
Fair enough. I can give you -194 to Walker Buehler. His, I don't know if it's a sub-2 ERA still. He's hovering around there. Fantastic season. Pitching in course, but yeah, -194. That's actually, scratch it. Made my eyes across. -192. Qwan, -192.
Okay,
a little bit
perfect.
cheaper. Go, man. Good luck tonight.
Thank
We'll
you.
talk to you later.
Thanks. All right, bye.
By the way, did you ever confirm Joey's 5-1 versus 4-1 thing?
Yeah, we did it.
So it's good, 5-1. All right. So Joey's in the mix in the leaderboard for this month. I keep forgetting a deck of cards. We were going to play red black for the prize pool money during the show. Let's make Qwan call him. I'll bring him tomorrow. We can play. We'll do lots of things with cards during the show tomorrow. Who's up next on the phone line? All right, Patrick. I'm just going to move my tab now on screen to NFL and see what you got for us. Is it NFL? Was I right? Was I right?
You are right. But first of all, I want to say congratulations to my man Carlos for cashing last night.
Yeah.
And to my St. Louis Cardinals for winning their 10th game in a row. And you know what? Let it be known that the Cardinals are now undefeated since caller Ryan besmirched the birds on the bat and first ballot Hall of Famer Yadier Molina last week.
It's like 6 or 7
Meanwhile,
straight
the
since
Reds-
that call, huh?
Yeah, it has. I think it was last Tuesday. Haven't lost since.
Yep.
And the Reds
I made that note
fumble-fucked
last
their
night.
lead away. That was the obvious play last night. I'm glad Carlos took the Cardinals, especially after Ryan mushed the Reds for the rest of the year. I'll ride that all the way to the playoffs.
He really did, and he somehow swung it to your beloved Cardinals. I'm pulling up real quick. I haven't looked recently, so bear with me for 5 seconds. I'm looking up the wild card stuff right now. In the National
They're up by
League,
4 now.
you're up 4. You're a pretty big favorite at this point with 12
It's like
games to go.
90% on Fangraphs. Don't make the playoffs.
It's crazy. If you remember, too, at the time, we talked about how, because you guys had a negative run differential, like minus 23.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
you're plus 7. Like,
Yeah.
just like that, he swung it into at least somewhat of a positive team rather than a, below expectation team. It's really interesting. I forgot about
It's
10
crazy.
straight.
Like about a month ago, they were like less than 4% to make the playoffs on Fangraphs. It's
To even
amazing
make it.
how
Oh, wow.
how much a 10-game winning streak will swing a lot of things, for sure.
Someone out there
Especially
probably
when every
has
team that they're
like a 20-1 ticket or something from a couple, month and a half ago, whatever it was. Yeah, there's probably someone out there holding some make the playoff tickets that are pretty high.
Yeah, so at least, it's making September fun for me. So I appreciate
For sure.
that. Thanks, Ryan. But yeah, you are right. I will go with NFL today. I mentioned this game last week on the look ahead line where the Bucs opened up like +2, which they're gonna close a favorite on that. So the line did move through 0, which that's not a huge move, but I'm still gonna ride with the Bucs. I would play them anything under 3. They're too deep of a team to be such a small favorite to the Rams.
So,
unless
real
Jalen
quick,
Ramsey can
I'm
cover
gonna interject.
everybody in that secondary.
I got to interject. I believe you already locked this in last week at +1.5.
Oh, I don't.
You called
I don't
in and
know
you
if I
said, "Hey, can I
did.
get a look ahead line today? I don't like anything else." And I thought you locked it in, or were you just bringing it up as an aside?
I think I was just bringing it up. I don't think I ever played it.
Okay, we will confirm that, and if you would like, if it turns out we did write it in as your official play, I'll give you an extra one for today. But for now, we'll just call it the Bucs. Continue. You can break it down. I just had to make sure that we were aware that came up before.
Oh yeah, because you know what? I was looking at all my plays because I track everything. And yeah, I think we just talked about it. I don't think I actually played that one.
Okay, Qwan said
But
it's not on
anyway,
his sheet
I don't have
either.
it down.
All right, so I just misremembered. You're good. Then we'll lock it in. There's still a -1, a couple of them actually in the market, so up to a few spots. I'm with you, and it's still like let's just fade the Rams again when it worked last week, but didn't work astronomically where it shifted the market heavily. So I'm with you. I think it's the right side.
Yeah, anytime the Bucs, I don't know if the Bucs are going to open up an underdog the rest of the year. I have their schedule in front of me.
No,
I
they
can't
won't.
imagine they would be, especially
Barring
the
an
Rams.
injury.
That line was wrong. So yep, let's ride with the Bucs.
Cool, man. We'll lock it in. Good luck, and we'll talk to you later.
All right, see you.
At Patriots, they're not going to be a dog. I'm trying to look at all their at Saints, like the Saints just aren't it. Oh, at Falcons, for sure, they'll be a big dog there. Falcons will turn it around. Maybe at Panthers by December 26th when the Panthers are 10-1 somehow. No, this is probably not going to happen. At Colts, the Colts aren't there. Anyways, who's up next? Let's bring them through. Andrew, welcome to Last Word Cheetah, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. What do you got for us today?
I got 2 plays. I'm going to see which one you have more confidence in. So I'm looking at
Sure.
the Falcons over the Giants. They have +3 points, but I feel pretty comfortable taking them on the money line. The Giants thing just isn't meshing for whatever reason. They've spent a lot of capital on offense. They can't really score too much. I guess that really falls on Daniel Jones. Then I'm also looking at the Road Runners. I think they're +3 at Memphis. Memphis is pretty overvalued. I know they came back and beat Mississippi State last week, but Sincere McCormick, excellent running back, hasn't really got it going yet. What do you think about either of those plays?
Both were plays we've talked about already on the show this week that I do like. And Tone was giving me crap for my Falcons preseason love. Fact of the matter is I haven't actually liked betting on the Falcons week to week until this week. Now I think it's an overreaction. It was even 3.5 on Monday when we did the show, and someone called in and took 3.5. And I said, yes, absolutely. You have to take the Falcons there. Also, UTSA was 3.5, even some 4s on Monday. That's come down. They're both now, you're pushing on the key number of 3. No, never mind. There is 3.5 left for UTSA. So I would say take the UTSA now at +3.5, since I can give you the extra half point there. I think that's a better bet. They're similar, though, if they were both at 3. But getting that half still when most of the market is 3 is worthwhile for sure. And by the way, that Memphis-Mississippi State final score is pretty misleading. You kind of alluded to it for a
Right.
second. So I think UTSA wins this game. I like the 3.5 for sure, though.
Okay. Yeah, let's ride with the plus or the 3.5.
Yep. We'll do that, man. Appreciate the call. We'll talk to you later. Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Cool. What's up, Joey? Welcome back to the show. How are you doing?
What's going on? I want to congratulate Carlos. Big win last night. Don't forget about my 250 either.
We won't. I got to figure out
wanna-
how the distribution of funds is going to happen, but you'll get hit up. Don't worry.
Yeah, no worries. I want to go with the NFL today. I want to do a teaser. I want to take the Ravens. I see some -7.5. Can you confirm that?
Yes, there is. You can still get down to 1.5. Yep.
All right. Let's take that with Arizona.
Interesting. Why Arizona?
I'm fading Jacksonville every week, so I don't believe in them. I don't believe in Urban Meyer, Trevor
I
Lawrence.
don't.
I don't
All right.
know. Yeah.
I want to check one thing.
Lock me in for that.
One thing that people
right.
don't do as frequently, and just bear with me again for a second. A lot of times you're doing a 2-team teaser, 6 points. I'm giving everyone -110, but a lot of places people do them, it's -120 or even worse. It's worth plugging in, especially on both of these games. The 7.5 for Arizona is 7 some spots, so it's pushing the shorter side of the 7.5. So if you were to plug in like money line prices at -330 and -360 for $100, the -110's definitely better. But just for people that are out there, it's worth plugging it in. For this sake, it's more like -135 range, I think, on the money line. So in this case, do the teaser. But I just wanted to throw that out there. Sometimes people tease games
I
that
know.
would be better off
Last
actually
week
just doing
I
a
was
2-teamer.
last week I was on like the Jets and the Patriots and the Broncos as a teaser, and the money line was better. It was like even money.
Oh, yeah, there you go. As long as you're checking at your book, that's all I want to throw out, especially because in some cases the money line also gives you a win if they win by 1 as opposed to the teaser only at 1.5. So, yeah, it's just check all your options. We'll lock you in as usual, -110 though. Good job, man. We'll be in touch somewhere. We'll get you paid once Carlos wins $25K, and we have to go get a loan.
Finish his run.
Yep. We'll hit you up, man.
Take care.
All right. See ya. Good luck. His DM was a little less drastic as Carlos. Carlos was no joke. Here's my Venmo, my Cash App, my bank wire number, and if you need routing and if you need to get on the phone with the banker, just let me know.
Joey was like, listen, good job, but I want
Don't forget my
Don't
250.
forget.
I didn't forget. All right, who's up next? Do we have someone?
We got Ty.
All right. Ty sent me a DM. I saw it pop up on my phone, Ty. You wanted to go, although what I saw said FAU minus the points, which I don't think they're laying points.
Yeah, I meant to type in plus.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, for some reason I didn't realize you guys were having trouble with the line. I didn't know what was going on, but I'm through now, and I want to plus against the Air Force.
Cool. We can give you 4.5. That's basically the board.
That works for me. It's more of a fade of Air Force based on what I saw last week. Obviously, it was on your round robin and was
nice.
Late in Utah State beat them. That was a crazy game, so I'm fading them. And like FAU plus the points.
FAU. I mean, we liked them when they played a Florida Open as well in week 1. Look, their defense just puts them in spots in the underdog role and even against an option team where if you have a defense you can at least count on. I think they're super live. I'm imagining Florida Atlantic will be one of my moneyline round robin options unless this line moves like a ton by Friday. But yeah, I think they're super live against Air Force. Might as well fade them again.
Yeah, I also wanted to share just a quick story that is kind of along the lines of what Carlos was doing over the summer. But my wife coaches high school soccer, and so a couple of buddies and me, whenever there's a game, we set a line and a total. So while I'm talking to you on the phone, I've got the live stream on, and
nice.
Right now it's definitely trending under 1-0 second half. A couple of my buddies were buried the over, so I'm hoping the defense continues.
There you go. I have a quick question. in high school soccer, what is an average score typically? Is it much different than
it's a great question. It definitely leans more towards higher scoring just because there's
keepers just aren't as good.
There is a lot of variance though. I mean, it can be, you can have these games where it's like randomly 1-0, but more often you see 4-2, 5-3, stuff like that.
So are you getting at least like under 3 here? You're not having to go under 2.5, are you?
Yeah, it was like an Asian handicap at like 3.25.
Even better. Okay. Well done. Just wanted to make sure you were handicapping it correctly for all the info that we even have, which is almost 0.
No doubt. So it's good times, just one way to keep yourself entertained during these events. So
for sure. All right, man. You take it easy. Good luck. Is there anyone else up?
Yep, we got Jim from Philly.
All right. Do I need to send Collin the link? I think I do. And did you send me the link?
It's the same one.
From
last week.
Is it that? But we did a new one yesterday because we had to have Carlos call in. It's all the same?
It's all the same.
All right. Collin, if you're listening, which you might not be.
I'll resend it.
I said should be same link. He'll probably get it. Anyway, just want to clarify that. I guess he's supposed to call in the next 2 or 3 minutes. Who's up next? Repeat that. Sorry. Jim. Sorry, man. Thanks for bearing with us. Welcome to the show. What do you have for us today?
Hey, what's going on? I actually got a question.
Sure.
So since you're a college guy and on the West Coast, what was your feeling on Davis Mills as like a quarterback?
I'm not sure. It's interesting. I feel like if there was a direct correlation to like college to pros, like it would just be a lot easier to bet these guys in their first games. Like, look, Trevor Lawrence was great in college. So was Zach Wilson. Those guys have been pitiful so far. And a lot of it is their team stinks, right? Well, look, the Houston Texans team stinks too. So it's one of those that I don't think you can put a ton of stock in it. I'm looking up his college stats right now just to like at least be able to have some sort of reference there.
Well, I mean, I just kind of wanted to get like how your feel like was of him like in college when he was at Stanford, like kind of like how you just felt about him then.
Well, here's the problem. He was hurt most of his, at least last year. He played a few games, if I recall. I'm pulling it up. It's loading. Played in 5 games. The year before that, he played in 8. He threw 7 TDs and 3 picks in 5 games. Look, Stanford's never special. They're like always playing like slower, running the ball. It's tough, man. I can't really give you a read because you have guys that sometimes go through those programs that are more pro style offense, don't put up the stats, and then they have, a chance and they're good at the NFL level. I'm not sure if Davis Mills is going to be that guy. I just don't think after 2 years and only 13 total games. Look, over 2 years, he threw in 13 games, 18 touchdowns and 8 picks. So like, I don't know, a little over 1 touchdown a game. Again, so what is it? Is he not very good? Or is that Stanford's style? It's like this whole formula that my point at the beginning. Yeah.
I try to.
My main, I guess,
because
assessment is don't bet the game because of Davis Mills one way or the other. Like, it's just, we don't have enough data yet.
Well, I just said, like, I really have seen, like, from the Texans, like, they're actually not even
Trying.
close to the worst team in the league. I mean, their offensive line is great. You could tell they have a good coaching staff, scheme. I think that's kind of like a fake narrative out there that they're the worst team in the league. So I was really trying to get a read on Mills to see. I mean, he looked awful last week, but, he was thrown into the fire. So
Sure.
just figured I'd call and ask you how you felt
Sometimes getting thrown into the fire helps, right? Like the other team's not expecting it. They didn't prepare for you at all, and sometimes you're actually better. Sometimes, it's worse when the other team gets to prepare for you for a week as opposed to the quarterback getting to prepare for a week. Like, it's kind of all, man, if we knew, it would be really easy to bet these quarterbacks in their first NFL games, but it's not that easy. So there's just more to it. I think people that are teasing Carolina down, and it's moved up, by the way, from 7.5 to 8. So there was some Panthers money. I wouldn't trust Mills necessarily yet. But you're right on the Texans as a whole. We talked about over the summer. I love the Tyrod Taylor. They can get to 4 or 5 wins angle, and unfortunately, that's already out.
Yeah. I figure while I'm on, I'll throw a pick in, but
Do it.
I like the Jets, actually.
Ooh. Why is that?
I like the Jets plus the points.
You can get 10.5 in Denver. Look, I eliminated my Zach Wilson helmet, and we moved it off the desk after his 4 INT game on Sunday. So I hope you're right. He needs to prove himself.
I mean, he probably faced the toughest defense in the league week 1. Belichick seeing ghost week 2. They actually can run the ball pretty well, and the Jets defense was flying all over the field on Sunday. So
you have
double
seen that
digits,
move down.
I'll take it.
Yeah, the totals moved down from 43 to 41 most spots. I think that was the best bet in the game personally. But, yeah, we'll lock you in for that. 10.5 on the Jets, man. Good luck. We'll talk to you later. All right. Is Collin up? Beautiful. Let's put him through. The 3 callers waiting? No, we got to go to Collin. If Tone's going to yell at you, I don't care. Whatever. He can wait. It's all good. We got an interview at 1:30. It's 1:31, so bring him on. Let me know when he's live, and we'll get going. And I'll repeat this. By the way, this is Collin Wilson. He's been on a few times from the Action Network. He messaged me yesterday. He said he got a little bit of inside information on his beloved Arkansas Razorbacks. So someone's texting me, Kanish, about Vegas buffets. Mercy. He did a... Qwan, how many Vegas buffets do you think my fat ass ate at the 5 years I lived in Vegas?
Yes. First inning, yes. Second inning, yes.
0.
First 5. Really?
Like buffets are so gross to me, man. Especially now, the COVID, if food's just sitting out there. Anything that's good, like your roast, whatever, but like sushi or crab legs, whatever. What's up, Collin? I'm talking about food for a second. He can wait. He's been in Vegas. Look, Collin knows.
I'm with you.
I want to eat it actually somewhere that puts out decent food. The buffets gross me out. So when Kanish put out his Vegas buffet power rankings, I was offended. Anyways, where's your? Have you eaten at a buffet? Do you have like a favorite in Vegas?
Well, what's funny is like whenever I've been, I mean, people don't know maybe that I've been flying into town for years, and when you were there, it was just a staple that you and I always went out to eat, and we had some magnificent dinners at some magnificent places, and we never settled for buffets.
Yeah, not a single time.
Not a single time ever. And you remember the night that you and I waited 2.5 hours, watched a Mountain West football game just for the oyster bar. At, just
was
for
Slam with us that night.
Yeah, he joined us late. You and I stood in the line for 2.5 hours while we watched a Colorado State cover. So
we were watching on the phone in line at Oyster Bar at Santa Fe Station.
Right.
If you've never been to Oyster Bar, go. But you have to wait 2 hours unless you go at 2 a.m. Then you only have to wait 1 hour. But yeah, I've just never done the buffets thing, so I don't know why I saw that notification come on my computer. But Kanish will discuss it later. Collin, welcome to the show. Thanks for bearing with us for a minute. I was prefacing, and I said this actually at the beginning of the show too. You said you got some info on Arkansas. Look, you're a Razorbacks fan anyway. I thought it was interesting. I kind of thought it was a buy low on A&M to some extent regardless. Plus, they have 2 offensive linemen that are likely to miss. Break this one down. Then we have some other big games we can key in on after that.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was dealing with other injuries on the Razorback offensive side of the ball that I already knew about, right? Traylon Smith, the running back, who's not really been able to have that burst of speed to separate from a yards after contact perspective. He's dealing with something going on with his shoulder. They're not being specific, whether it's a separated shoulder or a torn shoulder. And then there was word that he's got turf toe. So he's dealing with it on both ends of the body with the shoulder and the toe. And then you look at our 2 offensive linemen and, everybody's getting hurt. And now we're starting conference play for every team. But these are really important offensive linemen, namely our center, Ricky Stromberg, who is, I think, like top 5 in all centers of FBS and run blocking. And we've just been plowing holes in the A gap for anybody. Just a mile wide A gap for everybody because of Ricky Stromberg. He's not practicing this week. Neither is one of our tackles, starting tackles. So we do have a little bit of depth, but it's just going to drop off when it comes to run and pass blocking. And the last thing that we want to do is put KJ Jefferson into a passing down situation because his throwing has not been up to par. And then what I sent you last night was just shocking. So I'm really close to a couple, without giving details, but I'm really close to a couple of the NIL situations that's going on with Treylon Burks. And his photo shoot that he did yesterday hit the Dropbox. And, my family has access to that Dropbox for the business that he's doing his NIL deal with. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, there's a boot on him. Why is there a boot on? Now, he was wearing the boot leading up to the Rice game, and we all saw his Rice performance and saying, what's wrong with Treylon Burks? Why is he not the NFL first-round draft pick that has been floated out there? He's in a boot again this week, and he started wearing it on Monday, and he told everybody at the photo shoot it was just for precautionary reasons. And I'm thinking to myself, can't you take it off for the photo shoot? I mean, I'm looking at 100 pictures, like, why is it on a Monday during a photo shoot? So, I know he had that 91-yard against Georgia Southern, but that is the biggest explosive piece that we have on the Razorback team. And so there's injury. I mean, really the offensive line, Ricky Stromberg, our center, not being there is the biggest. Like if he's not playing, and Pittman said if he doesn't practice, he's not playing. So, all eyes are out on that. But I think you're right about the buy low spot on Texas A&M. If you look at the I'd say the rate that they run play action and screens, which is all the pro style offenses for Jimbo, it's been at a much lower clip. And I think they're kind of protecting what Zach Calzada wants to do, especially against New Mexico. You're not going to show your bag of play action and screen pass against New Mexico. And I think they have so many explosive players. I mean, the last thing I'll say about Arkansas is Barry Odom's done great at defensive coordinator at shutting down Bijan Robinson, the only option Texas had, at shutting down Justin Tomlin, the quarterback for Georgia Southern, with his triple option abilities. But this is Texas A&M, and they have multiple explosive playmakers: Aeneas Smith, Isaiah Spiller, and for some reason, Demon Demas has only caught 2 passes. Both are 80-yard touchdowns. I think they're saving him for this moment. I think you're right. It's a huge buy low spot on Texas A&M on a number that I think is a few points too low, and especially if Arkansas is missing their offensive center, that's one of the best in the nation. It's a big deal.
For sure. For the record, I had a 92-yarder against Georgia Southern last week, too. So I'm not sure the fact that he scored against that defense this year from 91
Are you in a boot,
means
though?
He's healthy. Yeah, I was in a boot as well. It was weird. I still got there. I hope you're right. I think A&M I had above 6 just from a sheer projection standpoint. And honestly, that's adjusting for King being out as heavily as possible. So there's definitely upside for the backup. And I'm with you there.
I said this to your text. I forgot to mention this, that Zach Calzada saw a 3.35 with Danny Gonzalez and Rocky Long. They're running the New Mexico defense, and that's a 3.35, and that's what Barry Odom runs at Arkansas. So that's to disguise coverage and zones, and that's what Arkansas does. And now Zach Calzada has that under his belt. So it's a huge up for Texas A&M.
That was one of the reasons I liked under in that A&M game against New Mexico, outside of the fact that it was also just New Mexico, and I just thought it would be tough for them to score on the A&M defense. But the 3.35 for a first-time quarterback is just brutal. And, they can run the ball some, and they don't have to put a ton of stock in him. And in that matchup, it was fine, but it definitely was helpful to see it once. So I think it's a great point. We've talked about 3.35 plenty in the past for those that are listening. Let's go to the first big game on the docket Saturday morning. I know you're writing about it. I'm not sure it's published yet. You can pub it later this week. Follow Collin on Twitter. It's Notre Dame, Wisconsin. I liked Wisconsin, especially when it was 4.5, 5.5 earlier in the week. We've both kind of been anti-Notre Dame, you even more so, season win totals. Over the summer, we did our season win totals draft. They were your first or second pick, I think. Then they probably should have lost to FSU and to Toledo. So here we are. They do cover against Purdue finally, but I stayed away against Purdue. I thought that had adjusted pretty fairly. Now we got another time to fade them on a much better Wisconsin team, by far the best team they've faced so far.
Yeah, and I wonder if the hate has gone a little bit too far because that's really me reaching into what Wisconsin is going to be able to do offensively, not really so much the hate that I've already had in the market or that's in the market that I've had myself beginning off the season with Notre Dame. I think that's already a part of the number. But if you look at this 2-game sample set that Wisconsin has had against Eastern Michigan and Penn State, there's just no explosiveness through the air, on the ground. The Ches Malushi, the transfer from Clemson, he's averaging 2.5 yards after contact. Mertz, I think the craziest thing that I did research on was Graham Mertz's passing grid. So there's 12 boxes in the passing grid, right? Beyond 20 yards, behind the line of scrimmage. He's thrown more passes in between the hash marks between 0 and 9 yards than all the other grid marks combined. And what that means is that the play of Notre Dame defense is going to have to be centered on in between the hashes. and short yardage situation. And who does Notre Dame have on defense? Like the best safety in the nation for Kyle Hamilton, who's just, running up to the line and tackling people at the point of attack. Notre Dame's defense isn't awful, but the way that Wisconsin's going to attack this game, Hamilton's going to be such a big deal. Already 3 interceptions, already 2 PBUs. I don't expect Mertz to throw very much. He's not going to throw long, but Hamilton's going to be a big deal in stopping any kind of explosive plays whatsoever. And then you go into the Wisconsin side, and the pace, and the Wisconsin offense is just slow. They want to drain clock. They've been terrible in finishing drives, getting points up on the board in 2 games, even including a MAC team there. And then you go to the other side with Jack Cohn and the
Revenge
negativity.
game?
The revenge game for Jack Cohn, which everybody's being nice about it. Like Chris was like, I like him as a person and he did great for us and it's not a big deal. And Cohn's kind of like, I respect everybody that's there. It's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. I think, he's going to be amped up for this game, which kind of makes it great for Cincinnati next week, but he's going to be amped up. He has no footwork. He's going to be under pressure. He's been sacked 15 times this year. The kid just takes a beating, and still his adjusted completion rate's really not that far off when he has a clean pocket a few times. So Cohn's serviceable. He's a game manager, can't get out and run. But there's just not going to be any – you can't get an explosive play against Wisconsin defense. They were number one in stopping explosive plays last year. So I like under a first half under in this game.
That's what I was, based on what you said, rather than betting Notre Dame especially. He's been sacked 15 times. Look at the defenses he's played. Now you're going up against Wisconsin. The 47s are mostly gone, but there are a few can be relatively key in that range. And then for people that are looking first half, 23s, there's a few 23 and a halves. So that there's
going to be buyback on Notre Dame. There'll be buyback
so?
On Notre Dame at 7, though. There will be at 7, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if it gets to 7, that makes sense. I don't think it'll ever get to 7 and actually settle there. That would take another wave of Wisconsin money. Next one. I'm just going to give you my 30 seconds, and then you take it from there, okay? I'm not sure if you like the side or the total, but I thought the most contrarian total play for Week 4 college football was Clemson NC State over. It was 47. Mm-hmm. I know we may have moved it a little bit. It's mostly 47 and a half places. Look, everyone sees what Clemson did, not only against Georgia, but then against Georgia Tech. There was a weird delay, and it was funky, and then they just basically no halftime. And they basically played like a half of prevent offense. Let's just get this game over with the delays going on. I think it's a great buy on an NC State defense that isn't actually that good, right? So love Leary. We talked about that plenty over the summer. If we had aligned this Week 1, I would have been nearly 10 points higher than market. So I'm just saying, hey, look, Clemson offense isn't that bad already this quickly. I like over. Take it from there.
I agree with you on certain aspects, but my play is different. My play is actually on Clemson, and I can't believe. 2 days ago, I wouldn't have believed that, but after doing like a deep dive for about 2 hours on what is really going on with Clemson, I came up to a couple of conclusions. First off, 3 of their offensive linemen rank in the bottom 200 in pass protection of all FBS offensive linemen. That's terrible. And then when you get into the comments that are being made, the offensive linemen that were up there with Dabo during his presser, they're like, it has nothing to do with talent. It has nothing to do with ability. It has to deal with communication. And if people don't know, if you watched that game the other day, the offensive lineman attacked Lynn J. Dixon on the sideline, like the running back, because he missed an assignment. He missed a blocking assignment, and the offensive lineman came down hard on him. And now he's in the transfer portal, right? So the kid hits the transfer portal. Lynn J. Dixon is done with Clemson. And the Clemson offensive line statement is, we are talented, and we are going to be able to create a safe place for DJ Uiagalelei to throw. Now, there's a problem with him too, which is timing. You have to remember, Justin Ross didn't play last year, so he has there's no repertoire with DJ whatsoever. And then you look at Nagata, who only caught 1 pass from DJ in that Notre Dame game last year. So this is a thing where DJ has needed some time to get reps with these wide receivers because he's not put the ball in the right place. He's been a little, quick triggered. He's just not been himself what we saw last year. But Dabo kept saying in the presser, reps, we'll be back to normal. We'll be back to normal. So if the offensive line can get it together and DJ can get settled down and get a repertoire going with Ross, everything's going to be fine. Now, the good news is the handicap on this game, why I'm on Clemson, NC State is 121st in pass rush They're like one of the worst pass rushing. Let me look. 113th in pass rush grading. And if this offensive line of Clemson is struggling, and it's just because of communication, because they're not picking up guys on the outside with the tackles and stuff, and you're going up against NC State pass rush, it's 113. Yeah, I mean, and NC State, I love them, and I love Devin Leary, but they couldn't execute at Mississippi State. 3 offensive fumbles, a special teams touchdown given up. They got into the red zone a bunch of times, couldn't get any points on the board. They just couldn't execute. And I have a bad feeling that if Clemson figures out this offensive line and DJ's timing works out, there's going to be a lot of points, and I'll take Clemson to cover. You might talk me into the over, too.
Yeah, you're speaking through it, and I'm just sitting here. Well, I hope Clemson covers 10. It means they're probably scoring 35 plus, and that should be a good sign for an over 47. And if NC State can't generate any pass rush, like all the points you made, I think do at least somewhat correlate to an overplay. One game I want to talk about you that I'm throwing at you we didn't discuss prior, and then if you want to add anything at the end that you also like that's still available in the current market. I've just had this – we've had this interesting like UCLA kind of back and forth since summer. They started out so hot. I still can't believe with 39 seconds to go, up 4, they gave up 3 pass plays and a touchdown to Fresno to lose that. But the market's been really interesting, moving from 3.5, 4, all the way up to 6. Then Stanford got bought down to 4 flat yesterday. Now that's back to 4.5, 5. I say to hell with trying to figure out who's going to cover. I also liked over a 58.5 or better. I think Tanner McKee, what Stanford's doing offensively, actually is a lot better than we anticipated entering the year. Give them credit. And UCLA's defense is kind of regressing to some extent. We saw it versus Fresno. But Stanford, man, Vandy was running on Stanford like it was nothing. Like, UCLA run game is going to eat. Anyways, I like over. Do you have a side, or do you just have an opinion on what we've seen through 3 weeks from UCLA and Stanford?
Well, I'm in double trouble with UCLA. I took a game of the year -7 against Stanford, and I also took -4 to start this week off with UCLA. So
cost average, man. Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree with you on the over. And it's if you watch that last quarter against Fresno State, it was like at the blink of an eye, 21 points were up on the board. Like UCLA has this ability with DTR and Britton and just to score like and Dulcich is like one of the most craziest. Just I mean, no one can guard this tight end, and I don't know why you're losing to Fresno State. I know the defense finally turned back into 2020, and whoever that was against LSU didn't show up. But UCLA has the ability to get points up on the board. Now, the reason that I took UCLA is because David Shaw came out on yesterday morning and announced that 2 starters in the secondary, they're not going to be playing in this game. There's some other injuries that are out from starters from what they've had. But the fact that Stanford is going to be missing, which that's not a very good unit anyways, but the fact that they're missing their 2 of their best tacklers and they also happen to be in the secondary, that's really good news for a UCLA team that not just – DTR can throw. I mean, we can get past the fact that it's kind of risky when he does throw that deep, but the running game, when they get to the second level, there's going to be guys back there that haven't really tried to make tackles against what UCLA has, especially with Dulcich at tight end. I mean, that's a load coming at you. So I like the over 2. I think this Stanford is just, I mean, the Stanford love is amazing to me. UCLA, they have to be completely awake after what happened against Fresno. Let's give credit to Fresno, though. Yeah.
You do have to give him credit, especially Haener, like barely walking, doing the Byron Leftwich impression, 3 plays, touchdown. I was just like, seriously? I was sitting next to my dad. The BYU game had just ended. We were happy about that W against Arizona State. Somehow BYU keeps pulling these out. Different story for another day. But we're watching UCLA, and I just finished, like, we got to go to the Oregon-UCLA game October 23rd, and in a minute Fresno State won. I was like, never mind, we don't have to go. So I was disappointed, but I think it is kind of a buy low. I side UCLA, prefer over. But I thought 6 was closer to fair. So real quick, before we let you go, anything else, 1 or 2 plays, just like quick hitters you want to give out here for week 4?
I'm a little embarrassed that I took Tennessee. But
so did we. That moved down to 18.5 today. Like
yeah,
recently.
It did. I got it. Yeah, there was 121 out there on open, and I grabbed it. And
20 and 20.5 was a great buy. This should have been like 16 in my opinion. All right, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, and me too. I think I had it 16.5, 17. So when I saw the 21, 2 things went through my mind. One, I think we're going to get Hendon Hooker to start, and that is a bye quarterback, not like Joe Milton. 2, of course, it's the narrative street hangover for Florida. But Heupel and the speed that he runs on the offensive side of the ball, and the fact that Hendon Hooker is a better game manager and a more reliable quarterback and can get the ball out of his hands a lot quicker than Milton, the fact that he can throw the ball
Yeah.
after like 1 second after the snap is huge against the Florida pass rush. So I don't back Tennessee very often. They've just been fade for years, but I think this is a spot where it's just too big.
I also think that Florida final score against Alabama and Saban was a little misleading. It's like, wow, they had a 2-point conversion, a chance to go into overtime. Look, Saban was up 21-3, and I know you had a bunch of Florida, and it was the right side to cover 15 or 14.5. But 21-3, I think Saban was like, hey, we got a great defense this year. It's Bryce Young. We don't want to do anything stupid. Let's just kind of coast the rest of the way. And I feel like part of that's on Saban for how he coached that game and even letting Florida get back into it. So I think they're just a little overvalued as well. Man, thanks for your help as usual. Thanks for your time. Leave everyone with your Twitter handle and then Action Network stuff, whatever you want to plug.
Yeah, @_ Collin 1, COLLIN 1. You can find all my written work over at actionnetwork.com. We have a podcast that comes out on Monday mornings with some voicemails of people that took some bad beats. On
That's
Tuesday
fun.
mornings, you can hear myself. Yeah, we get some spicy. I haven't had a really bad losing week yet, so I'm still waiting on the public to hammer me. But Tuesday mornings is Brett McMurphy and I looking at the AP Top 25 versus an Odds Makers Top 25. And then Stucky and I's podcast comes out on Friday mornings, doing the whole entire college football slate. And that's it. Big bet. Oh, and the Big Bets on Campus live show. I believe, Preston, they're going to be flashing a graphic on Saturday morning show that says my record on the show is 16-3. So an 0-10 is coming fast for me. There's an
everyone
0-10
tune in and fade his ass fast. 16-3.
Yeah, it's coming. I know it's coming.
That's impressive. Congrats, man. Appreciate it as usual. Talk to you soon. We'll be in touch.
Thanks for having me, man.
Later. Am I still a robot? No.
Yeah, we had some major issues.
Still choppy. So at least the audio is working. We're wrapping up in a couple minutes anyway. Did we have callers that want to try to wrap up here in the last
Jamie
5 minutes?
from Atlanta.
All right. What's up, Jamie? How are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Yo, what's up, man? We got me through today?
We did. Thanks for being patient with the interview we were holding. Are you going KBO? Because we're actually doing that for our Betting Extraordinaire show. It's a KBO question. So if you have any insight, it's going to be a KBO question. Yeah.
So I did not get to look at the game today. Otherwise, I would have been able to provide some. But I mean, I took a brief look to see if there's anything that jumped out at me, and nothing really did. It was like a below-average slate. But best of luck to Carlos on that one.
What do you got for us
So
then today?
I had a question. Well, what can you give me on ULM team total? Trying to go under.
Why?
When you were talking worst teams in the FBS, I was surprised you didn't bring up ULM. They're bottom 5 for sure for me, and I like Troy's defense. So.
Are they for you? Let me look. I'm going to find a team
They
total
are.
for you. I'm going to look up my my numbers that I have here, pulling it up. They are, yeah.
Troy,
Them and Bowling Green. I actually have Akron ahead of both of those teams. So, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
They're right there, 5th worst for me. For team total against Troy.
I like Troy's defense, too. Troy brought back all their starters. ULM didn't score a touchdown against Jackson State. So.
Actually, I saw that. I don't know how that's even possible, to be honest, and be an FBS school. Embarrassing. 13.5 minus 119 under. Is that good?
Yeah, I'll take that. Let's go with it.
2 field goals and a touchdown. If they score 2 Ds, you're probably losing. All right, that's an interesting line. I'm going to look at that myself for a little more.
I think they've got 1 touchdown all year. So
hopefully Troy's not sleeping then. Good luck, man. We'll lock you in.
Yeah. All right, thanks, guys.
Yep, take it easy. Did Tone try to call in, or he just gave up?
Yes, he just called in.
He just
did.
All right, Tone.
The pieces.
Welcome to the show.
The piece is ruined.
He's upset. Go for it. Let it out.
Had a good day. I want to shout out Carlos. What a legend. Congratulations, brother. Shout out Patrick. Shout out the legend Tom Davis. Shout out Colin Wilson. What was that brown stuff on Colin Wilson's upper lip? He just get done with a Revell rim job.
I didn't see anything.
Yeah. All right. You didn't see anything? You must have missed it. Take a look at the replay. I think it was lagging. It was probably those hackers again.
They are at us.
But,
3 straight days.
About Qwan, I know he's doing his best, but he fucked me again today. He told me there was 4 people in front of me. 8 people then went, called back. Of course, fucking Arkansas man was on the line, so I had to hold my nuts, you know.
You survived, luckily.
Crotch. What were those cheap shots you were taking yesterday, Preston? I can't congratulate a man. The man said he needed money. He fucking won. I congratulated the brother.
I don't remember what I said, to be honest. Do you remember,
You
Corn?
said I was saying congrats because he's winning money or something.
Oh, he's got liquid coming.
Oh, yeah.
It was
a good
an
point.
absolute cheap shot.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yes, you got it. I remember now. Yep.
Okay, yeah. The Mets, they were terrible yesterday, so you know what you do? You
Double
take them
down.
again. Mets money
Oh,
line.
yeah.
I need them.
Always double down.
I need them.
Okay.
I need them.
I am going to give you plus 156, and I'll add 10 cents for fun because you got me for needling you yesterday. Plus 166 bonus on the Mets. Lock it up. Chris Sale, no
you hear
shot.
that? I just got a bet bonus from PJ. Also, to
Yeah.
all those people just calling in to just say the picks you already gave out, you might as well just DM Preston on a price for a BJ at that rate, you know. But we'll get on from that. What about Nebraska money line? I wanted that to be my rip today, but then I had to do the Mets again.
Tomorrow,
What do you think
we're
about
going
that
Nebraska.
ball
You mentioned that yesterday, too. I think that's a great round-robin option. If I recall, we talked about this yesterday or the day before. So we'll talk Nebraska tomorrow. We'll have you back on.
All right, brother. And Qwan, I know they're not feeding you well. You said you can only get 1 meal in a day, you know. Hopefully after all this, Preston can buy you dinner or something, you know. You look hungry over there. That's all I got to say.
Certainly half my size.
He's gone.
What a guy. We wrapped up. We got to get to betting extraordinaire because day 6, big deal for Carlos. Starts in a few minutes. And we have Pikachu calling in. Look, we had him in studio way back that first week or so that we were doing shows. He talked about how he was firing KBO. There was an edge because after COVID, everyone stopped paying attention to it. He thought the market wasn't nearly as efficient as it was a year ago. So let's have him talk through the KBO question. Carlos, 2 winners away from $25,000. He already pocketed $2,500. Thanks to all those that participated. And one more shout out, Collin Wilson from the Action Network, breaking down college football week 4. We'll be back last word Cheetah tomorrow as usual, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Talk to you guys then.